Welcome back, or just welcome to my channel. This video covers a bikepacking trip in Peru I completed in May of 2025. Hi, my name is Tony, and this year I've done some remarkably beautiful and remote bikepacking. In previous videos, I shared my journey through the mountains of northern Costa Rica and the circumnavigation of the Nicoya Peninsula, as well as the travel and circumnavigation to Ometepe Island in Nicaragua, and documented a side trip to the west coast in a little tourist town named San Juan del Sur. You can find these videos in a 4-part series on my channel. For this trip to Peru, a group of adjectives might be rugged mountains, hanging glaciers, blue water, switchbacks, solitude, wonderful people, and aggressive dogs. In this video, you will get to see what it's like to bike through some of the most beautiful mountains of northern Peru, labeled the Cordillera Blanca. I got the idea for this route from bikepacking.com, as I did for Costa Rica and Nicaragua. You can see my route on the right in red is different from the documented route on the left in blue, due to me wanting to pass through the Tunel Olimpica. My 2 acclimatization rides of Laguna Paron and Winchus loop came from Phil Benny, who has videos on this area and others you can check out on his channel. This slide shows my riding days in Caraz, with each day roughly circled. Day 1 is Laguna Paron. Day 2 is the Winchus loop. This grid shows the riding stats for my trip, including a ride along the coast in Lima through Miraflores and back to my hostel near the airport. In early May of 2025, I flew into Lima on United Airlines, assembled my bike and went out for a test ride, and got to experience a little of Lima near the airport and away from the more touristy and well-kept parts of the city. There were makeshift markets and areas that made you question your route, but mostly it was just parts of the city that you don't normally see as a tourist. I ate lunch at a street cart and spoke for about 30 minutes with the young lady operating the cart while I ate. She had lots of questions about where I was from, what I was doing, etc. I told her I was headed to Caraz to ride and asked if she had been there. She said no and pointed across the street, saying that she lives there, works at this stand-with that her family owns 6 days a week, and has never been outside of the city of Lima. We sometimes forget how lucky we are to be able to travel not only outside the country, but perhaps just outside our city. Eventually making my way back to the hotel, I packed up my bike and prepared for my overnight bus ride to Caraz. This is what going to the bus station at 9 o'clock at night looks like. As the sun hit the tops of the mountains, the overnight bus hit the city limits of Caraz. I felt like I'd gotten some sleep in the reclining seat and set out to find my hostel, get some breakfast, set up the bike for a day ride, and head off to the 13,700 foot beautiful blue Laguna Paron. And the fireworks begin again as I head out of town up to Lake Paron. As I left the city center, I passed through what I call the aggressive dog zone. Most city centers, the dogs were accustomed to bicycles, but between a city center and like a national park area, the dogs were really aggressive. All of the locals recommended carrying sticks to create necessary space. As I entered the national park area, the roads became rougher, canyon walls seemed to get taller, and the air cooled. As the altitude went up, the big trees gave way to smaller trees and then mainly scrub brush. There were many switchbacks. It was a misty day, cool, but not cold, even though the altitude was nearing 13,000 feet. As I neared the top, about a quarter mile from the lagoon, was a washout that had been there for about a year. They'd placed boards that were now nice and wet and slick, and you had to carry your bicycle across it or leave it behind, and that wasn't going to happen. So across we went. The lagoon was around the corner from the washout, and more blue than I had imagined. Laguna Paron is just over 2 kilometers long, and the views were amazing. Maybe I was being a bit dramatic due to this being my first day out riding, but still incredible. Another crossing of the Death Bridge, and I was on my coast towards the Dog Zone and Caraz. Dark was looming, but I made it back after car lights were necessary and before it was truly dark. Day 2, Winchus Loop, turned out to be the day with the most climbing and the lesser of a destination. Over 8,000 feet in 30 miles. Other than that, lots and lots of switchbacks, going up and coming down. There just wasn't much of a destination. The summit was a small set of stones where maybe people would use, to get out of the wind, stay out of the weather. The summit was a great feeling because I'd been climbing since early, and it was wet, rainy, and cold at the top, so I was happy to head down to lower altitudes where it was warmer again, even though the rain persisted until I was nearly back in town. This is a great perspective. I'm pretty certain that's the top, and right there is a van that came by me a long time ago. You can see he was right there. Yeah, now he's going up the next switchback right there. Well, that's where I was. It's only been a half an hour, and I stopped and adjusted my seat once, changed clothes. Beautiful watching the clouds go by. I'm finally getting up above them in certain areas. Probably going to be rainy-ish here in a minute. Well, that was a challenging 3 miles. It grappled. I had to put on all my super warm, waterproof sort of gear, and these pogies, which have been incredible. They just keep the water off, keep your hands then a little bit warmer on the inside. Now we're headed up there to go back down to town after I climb the whatever that is. Well, I think I've made it to the top. Oh my gosh. Like I said, these pogies that are just like rain weight, fantastic. I mean, oh my gosh, so nice. And I think I'm just headed down that way. Not sure what the altitude is. 14,362. For some reason I thought it got up to 15 something, so hopefully it does not. That would mean I have a lot of climbing left. So anyway, hopefully I'll see you back in town. The descent went through several wooded areas and small communities, and oh yes, the aggressive dogs were there in all their madness. Views of the mountains across the valley was beautiful. Cannot say other than the acclimatization ride, this was of much more value. It was a good ride, and it was really pretty at times, but I think other areas might have more of a destination and a very similar view. I arrived back in town again after dark this time, riding along a busy highway for a few miles. I would just hop off the pavement when I could hear a car coming and had no issues. Ready for day 3 to leave Caraz for a few days. I only have, I think, 6 or 7 more switchbacks to go. There's the Blue Lake. I mean, the switchbacks are just relentless, but at least, you know, it's rideable. Haven't had anything I couldn't ride yet. There's some road that's pretty rough like that right there, but I mean worse than that, really muddy, but not too bad. So, whew, getting there. I think the road goes right up through there, and then well, I made it. Right there's the cut through at the top. And now it is down, 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 down. So how many waterfalls can we count? I'm not sure if you can even see them. There's 1, 2 up there. 3, 4, 5. The little ones up higher. I mean, all the little white lines they're all waterfalls. It's just crazy. Well, this is a fun crossing. It's a little too unknown. I just didn't want to go racing through it. So I sort of walked with my bike over. It's super cool, muddy waterfall, and then the big truck just went by. So up the muddy road we go. Eventually, hopefully, Caraz. I changed my route a little bit, but either way is fun. So much mud. I can't video most of it because I'm afraid if I drop my phone I'd never find it and it would be ruined. But thick, soupy, like nasty mud, but it doesn't stick to your tires, it just flips all over everything else. So kind of weird stuff. Super excited because I'm on pavement, and I think I have to go up where you can, I don't know if you can see the power lines, but that's where I gotta go. And it's really pretty. I think that's the pass somewhere over there to the right that I'm going over tomorrow. And I'm excited that I'm not on mud, so good stuff. Well, beautiful background. It may rain on me, hopefully not. I've got about 2,000 feet of climbing to do, which I'm going downhill right now, which is not a good sign. You know, the scenery is incredible. Just beautiful everywhere you look. So, can't complain about that. Well, getting close. Close. Several more switchbacks, but It's you know, hard to not stop and look around. Eat some chocolate chip cookies made by Ellie Mae Clampett. That's probably gonna go over most people's heads, unless you're my age. But as always, a little rain, but I'm in the sun at the moment and doing pretty good. Here's another car. It's a weird tunnel when there's no light. There's just the holes on each end.